Ronda Rousey, once the face of women's MMA and a Datiai superstar, is no stranger to controversy, but her latest scandal has sparked a firestorm like never before. After leaking shocking news about her tumultuous WWE career, Rousey found herself under attack, not just from fans, but from those still grieving the Sandy Hook tragedy. Can she survive the backlash, or has Rousey finally gone too far?
Ronda Rousey is apologizing for her 2013 tweet about the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting.
Ronda Rousey's journey to fame is nothing short of remarkable. She first burst onto the scene as a mixed martial arts (MMA) fighter, where she quickly made a name for herself with her aggressive fighting style and undeniable skill. Rousey's rise in the Ultimate Fighting Championship (UFC) was meteoric. She became the first ever female champion, defending her bantamweight title multiple times with ease. Her dominance in the octagon made her a household name, and she was hailed as the face of women's MMA, breaking barriers for female athletes across the board. However, Rousey wasn't content with just conquering the MMA world. She set her sights on professional wrestling and joined WWE. While her transition to WWE was initially celebrated, it soon became clear that her tenure in the company was fraught with challenges. Rousey's time in WWE was marked by a series of public disagreements with Vince McMahon, the former WWE CEO, whom she openly criticized for stifling her potential. Her frustrations culminated in a dramatic walkout after her last match at SummerSlam 2023, where she faced her former tag team partner, Shayna Baszler. Rousey's abrupt exit and subsequent tell-all memoir, Our Fight, revealed a litany of behind-the-scenes conflicts, particularly with McMahon, John Laurinaitis, and Bruce Pritchard, painting a picture of a superstar who felt betrayed and mismanaged. But Ronda Rousey's career wasn't just about her achievements in the ring. It was also riddled with controversies that often overshadowed her accomplishments. Over the years, Rousey became known for her outspoken nature, which led her into several public spats and problematic statements. One of the most significant controversies of her career stemmed from an insensitive comment she made about the Sandy Hook massacre. In the aftermath of the tragic shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary School in 2012, Rousey made a shocking claim on social media, suggesting that the massacre was a staged event, a conspiracy theory that was both hurtful and unfounded. This comment drew immediate and widespread backlash, with many condemning her for promoting such a dangerous and offensive idea. At the time, rather than addressing the issue head-on, Rousey chose to remain silent, letting the controversy simmer just below the surface. It wasn't until years later, after continued pressure and criticism, that she finally acknowledged the gravity of her words. This delay in addressing the controversy only served to compound the damage, leaving many to question her judgment and sensitivity.
Shared a statement on social media expressing her regret over sharing a conspiracy theory video 11 years ago that suggested that the shooting had been staged.
The Sandy Hook massacre on December 14, 2012, remains one of the darkest days in American history. On that tragic day, a gunman entered Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown, Connecticut, and brutally murdered 26 people, including 20 young children. The event shocked the nation and sparked intense debates over gun control, mental health, and the safety of schools. The pain and trauma felt by the families of the victims, as well as the broader American public, were immeasurable. Sandy Hook became a symbol of the need for change, and it left a lasting impact on the national consciousness, reminding everyone of the fragility of life and the horror of senseless violence. Amidst this backdrop of grief and mourning, Ronda Rousey's comments about the Sandy Hook shooting were not just insensitive, they were deeply offensive. In a now infamous social media post, Rousey suggested that the Sandy Hook shooting was an elaborate hoax, staged by the government to push for stricter gun control laws. This baseless conspiracy theory, which had been propagated by notorious figures like Alex Jones, was quickly debunked, but the damage had already been done. Rousey's endorsement of this theory fueled further speculation and conspiracy, causing immense pain to the families of the victims and angering the public. Instead of immediately retracting her statement or apologizing for the hurt she caused, Rousey initially chose to stay quiet. This silence only added fuel to the fire, as many saw it as an implicit endorsement of the conspiracy theory. It wasn't until much later that Rousey would begin to reckon with the consequences of her words. Fast forward 11 years, and Ronda Rousey finally issued a public apology for her Sandy Hook comments. In a lengthy and emotional statement, Rousey confessed that she had made the most regrettable decision of her life by sharing the conspiracy theory. She admitted that she didn't even believe the theory at the time, but was so desperate for an alternative explanation that she clung to it. Rousey acknowledged that she deserved all the hatred and criticism that came her way, and expressed deep remorse for the pain she caused the victims' families. She explained that she had wanted to apologize earlier, but feared that doing so would only reopen old wounds and potentially lead more people to the conspiracy theory. Despite these concerns, Rousey ultimately recognized that her silence was doing more harm than good and decided to speak out, even though she knew it was long overdue.
I can't say how many times I've redrafted this apology over the last 11 years.
As expected, Rousey's apology was met with a mixed response. While some appreciated her finally taking responsibility for her actions, others were less forgiving, arguing that her apology came too late to be meaningful. Social media was abuzz with reactions, many of which were critical of Rousey for waiting over a decade to address the issue. Some questioned the sincerity of her apology, pointing out that she had only spoken up after being repeatedly called out by fans and media alike. Others attacked her for trying to absolve herself of guilt with words alone, without taking any concrete action to make amends. So, here's where things get even more interesting. Just when you thought the dust was settling after Ronda Rousey's apology for her Sandy Hook comments, she went ahead and dropped a bombshell that no one saw coming. The shocking news she leaked had everything to do with her tumultuous career in WWE and her ongoing feud with Vince McMahon. In a candid and rather explosive revelation, Rousey exposed some deep-seated issues within WWE, particularly concerning how Vince McMahon and other top brass handled her career. Rousey claimed that during her time in WWE, she was consistently held back and manipulated by McMahon, who she believes sabotaged her potential to become one of the greatest in the company's history. According to her, McMahon deliberately nixed some of her biggest matchups, including a much-anticipated bout with Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. Rousey didn't hold back, alleging that McMahon's actions were a direct attempt to diminish her star power and control the narrative around her WWE persona. This revelation was part of a broader narrative she's been pushing, where she paints herself as a victim of WWE's backstage politics, which, if true, only adds another layer to the already complex relationship she has with the wrestling world. But that's not all. Rousey's leaked information also touched on her personal life, particularly her struggles with the fallout from her controversial statements and the toll it's taken on her mental health. She talked about feeling isolated and betrayed, not just by the WWE management, but also by people she once considered friends in the industry. This kind of raw honesty was unexpected, and it quickly became the focal point of conversations among fans and critics alike. The reality is a bit more complicated. While Rousey's revelations certainly stirred the pot, the timing of the leak, coming right after her apology for the Sandy Hook comments, meant that the public reaction was a mixed bag. On one hand, some people were sympathetic, seeing Rousey as someone who's been wronged by a powerful figure like McMahon. They appreciated her courage in speaking out against such a well-established authority in the wrestling world. On the other hand, though, there were plenty of people who saw the leak as a calculated move to divert attention from the Sandy Hook controversy. To them, it felt like Rousey was trying to shift the narrative away from her past mistakes by stirring up the new drama. This suspicion was only heightened by the fact that her apology had come so late and felt somewhat hollow to many. In this context, the leaked information didn't do much to soften the criticism Rousey was already facing. If anything, it amplified it. People were questioning her motives, wondering if she was genuinely remorseful or just trying to save face.
Now, if Ronda is truthful about wanting to apologize over the last 11 years and being told not to, wanting to put an apology in her last book and being told to pull it out,
let's be real. Ronda Rousey's public image has taken some serious hits over the years. But this latest controversy might just be the most damaging of all. The combination of her controversial comments about Sandy Hook and the subsequent leaked information about her WWE career has put her in a precarious position. On one hand, she's still an incredibly talented and influential figure in both MMA and professional wrestling. But on the other hand, these controversies have cast a long shadow over her legacy. So, what are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below.